One of the best things about building paradoxical outcome decks is you can play anywhere from the control to combo spectrum, and today, let's lean into those AB combos. All right, welcome back, vintage gamers, to an off-stream recording. Doing off-stream recording has been interesting because it has different pros and cons to streaming live, and one of them is sometimes you forget to hit record, and sometimes you forget to set your mic in the right way, where those live stream, the viewers will tell me. So this is maybe my third time recording this intro, but that's okay. It happens. So today we're playing an oldie but goodie. That is recently seeing a little bit of play thanks to CRK, and that is a Lurrus PO deck that is blue-black base. This deck has historically played with Bowmaster, without Bowmaster, with Trainer, without Trainer, and this is a recent version that CRK 5-0'd with a couple slight changes. I think this is a perfectly viable way to play PO, and it's just it's about weighing your pros and cons and how this deck fits into your metagame. So what are you gaining and what are you losing by playing this deck instead of playing something like the stonk Jeskai PO list? Well, you're gaining power in fast AB combos of Manifold Key Time Vault and Orcish Bowmaster Time Twister. These are two ways to end the game really quickly. They're going to give you a lot of free wins, but they are a little bit more vulnerable in that, Twister is a 3-mana sorcery, kind of hard to resolve sometimes in like a Flusterstorm Pyroblast meta. And Time Vault Key is an artifact-based combo, so it's going to be weaker when your opponents are bringing in Null Rods against you, which they are. And what are we losing by playing this list instead of playing Jeskai PO? Well, we're losing our wide answers. We're losing our Portable Hole. We're losing our Flame of Anor is a big one. We're losing our Swords to Plowshares. So we're losing a lot of the versatility, ability to grind, pieces that help deal with null rods and other hate. We're losing those cards in favor of trying to speed up the game and win some free games with A+B combos. And that's totally reasonable. We always talk about PO as a deck that is on a spectrum from combo to control. And Jeskai Lurrus PO is a deck that's very heavily leaning into the controlling side. Can play long games, can play grindy games, isn't super interested in comboing, even though it can combo, which is what makes it really powerful in my opinion. This deck is going to lean the other way. It's going to be very powerful at comboing, but maybe we'll have a harder time doing, longer games, grindier games, answering opponents' permanents, especially hate pieces. I had some struggles recording this the other day, and I played a match, and my opponent was presenting Vault Key combo, and I had the ability to try to draw into answers. And I was so surprised when I realized I didn't have a lot of answers. I had this chain, I had this sink, some semi-permanent answer, not permanent answers. Whereas like in the other deck, I could draw to my Flame of Anor, and I would have a beautiful answer, easy to find Merchant Scroll answer. Obviously, sink and chain are Merchant Scroll answers too, but just that kind of thing kept appearing. And you also end up with a deck that's a little bit more pointed. Orcish Bowmaster is an extremely powerful card when it's good. It's just not always good. So, when this card isn't good, you kind of end up with a blank cardboard. It does a little bit about, clocking your opponent, but it's not super powerful. But when it's, blocking, being recurred with Lurrus, stopping your opponents from drawing, then it's going to be quite strong. So you have to ask yourself, is this a metagame where Orcish Bowmasters make sense? And I think it is right now. One of the more powerful matchups for Orcish Bowmasters is the Raker Shops matchup, because the Raker Shops deck has Scrawling Crawler, which this card is very good against. It has the top combo is very weak to Bowmaster because Bowmaster just shoots down the Raker. So I actually think it could be a metagame that Orcish Bowmaster makes sense. So I took a 5-0 list. I made a couple changes just for my sanity. I put a second Flusterstorm in for the stock up mirrors. I took out the Swamp from the main. I think we'll just board it in when it makes sense. I don't really feel like I am currently in a metagame where I'm getting wastelanded. I think it's currently a metagame with like some of the least numbers of wasteland I've seen in a long time. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put the Swamp in the board and put the Sewers instead of the fourth C. I know why, CRK didn't really want to play the Sewers, but I think when you play a matchup that is not, a wasteland-based matchup, being able to end of turn fetch for a free spell is just super, super powerful. And every time I don't have access to that, I feel like I'm losing a ton of value in terms of, especially when I'm trying to find my A plus B answers, this card is going to help me find those A plus B answers. So, yeah, besides that, it's a very, it's a copy paste list. It's very stock and standard. I have no, real issues. You can obviously switch up some of these one-ups in the sideboard, but I think it seems like it has a good grasp on, what it wants for dredge, what it wants for these combo-oriented artifact decks, and there are a lot of those going on around right now, and even some nice flexible removal spells. So I'm pretty excited to play this through a league. I haven't played a Vault Key PO deck in a long time because I felt like the metagame has been very null rod centric. So this will be a nice little test league with a different kind of Lurrus PO. Let's see you in round one. I am happy to announce the dates for high stakes proxy friendly vintage in 2026. The legendary NYSE returns to Long Island in New York on June 6th. This $500 entry fee tournament will pay out 8 pieces of unlimited power. The Oklahoma Land Run returns in 2026 on July 10th through 12th at the Reed Convention Center in Oklahoma City. Play Friday Team Trios, Saturday Legacy for a Mox Sapphire, and Sunday Vintage for a Mox Emerald. Event links can be found in the description below. I hope to see you there. Let's battle. All right, am I recording? Can you hear me? You just have to check, man. I can't take that pain again. See, this is like, this is a pretty decent example of Orcish Bowmaster being super pointed. If this is if I'm good against if Orcish Bowmaster is good here, then I think this hand actually could be pretty strong. But if these were like trainers, if you could play 8 trainers, then this hand is like a lot better against a variety of decks. As it is, it's a little low power on the draw. Against a non-Lurrus deck, let's mulligan. This one's better. I think, I have to figure out, I'm definitely keeping all of my blue cards. So I have Force and I have PO. I'll probably, err on the side of Wasteland and just put this Bowmaster away until I know it's good. And maybe that's, maybe that's me playing with Bowmaster wrong. It's possible, but Besiege you. So is it Oath? Bowmaster notably not great against Oath. Go fetch out a basic island here and play with Soul Ring. We are going to need some additional permanents for our PO to be good. Another thing about this deck is it doesn't actually have any Mishra's Baubles to make your Lurrus good. All it has is 1 Vexing Bauble. No Soul Guide, no Mishra's Baubles, so you don't have the best Lurrus. Oath of Druids. So they're playing Oath of Druids off of Mox that they either held or drew, so they don't have to show me if they have a Forbidden Orchard or not. I think I am not allowed to let that go for free. They did have an Orchard, so good play for me. And then I've drawn another land. I'll buy a Lurrus. Not that I really want to play a Lurrus against Oath, but... And then we're going to at least use our fetch land here to get an Undercity Sewers and try to find, a thing I can put in the yard for my Lurrus, maybe. Yeah, well, I'm glad I used my Force before they drew Vexing Bauble, but if they have another Oath, then it's pretty bad. Yeah, they have another Oath. Not much I can really do here. I don't have that many things in my deck that are good. We have to try to find an answer. What I could do is bin this trainer with value from my Undercity Sewers, and then play Lurrus, and then recast Trainer from the yard. I'm gonna have to beat an Atraxa, but I don't think that casting Trainer into like a PO is enough here, so... Merchant Scroll. Merchant Scroll is interesting because it has Sink into Stupor and as well as Chain of Vapor. So I could Merchant for a bounce to buy a whole turn. The problem is I don't actually have... Like, all I'm getting is another draw, and I'm getting a... land drop. It's probably worth it, though. think it's better than Ancestraling. We get the 3-mana one just because I can use my mana efficiently here. If I had a 1-mana one, I still can't play my Lurrus, so... I don't know that this is a winning line, but maybe it'll help us get to a spot where we can do something. I mean, we can't really PO combo our opponent with a Vexing Bauble in play, so it's pretty tough. We just don't have a lot of great choices here. We forced an Oath, but they had a second Oath as well as a Vexing Bauble. We're going to have a mana open this time as well. Stock up. I'm certainly interested in stocking up first. Bowmaster, Opal, Opal, PO. I mean, you know, we can have other cards here instead of Bowmasters. We could have Brainstorms. We could have other blue cards. More Chain of Vapors. I don't know. Just thinking about all the things this could be. This is about as dead as a stock up can possibly be. Can't cast Opal. There's no reason to have POs, and these Bowmasters are useless. So I don't really know. Don't really see a great way forward here. At the very least, I can just make it so my opponent's not going to cast a 1 of Ancestral. I mean, they can just cast a 1 of Ancestral. It doesn't matter. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to play Lurrus here so I can maybe kick a trainer next turn. Maybe that's better. I don't know that anything I'd choose to do at this point is going to be good, considering that stock up was as bad as possible. But, like, there also is just, like, not that many good hits on the stock up, so... So my opponent's top card, oh, they brainstormed a Atraxas at the top of the library, and then they hit Negation, Ancestral, Null Rod, Show and Tell. They took Ancestral, Oath, Trop, Atraxa, Show and Tell, and Null Rod. So now I'm gonna have to have an answer to Null Rod as well. Maybe, or time. I mean, let's just go to the next game. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a Cage or a Dress Down or a Caracas. I do have a Feed the Swarm. I believe I had to take out the second Feed the Swarm to add the Swamp into the sideboard, so that's a bit unfortunate because that technically is a Oath answer. But having a Fluster Swarm main means I have more stock up and more Show and Tell answers, so it's not like a bad thing. I will go down to another basic here because I don't really need basics. I have plenty of lands in my deck. I still have 14.5 lands even after cutting a land here and putting this, swamp in the board. This deck is really the original list is really paranoid over Wasteland, which I mean I get it. Wasteland's a messed up Magic card, but maybe too big of an extent. I don't think these Bowmasters are good besides Twister, but I do still want to leave the Twister in, so maybe I'll go down 2 Bowmaster here. I don't think I want access to Lantern, Needle, Spell Bomb, anything like that, so... Yeah, I mean, a Force, a DT for an Ancestral seems good. Again, I don't have a Brainstorm in my list because I have these Bowmasters probably, so not a lot of value in holding fetch lands, so I think just getting the lands I want out now makes more sense. Should we get Ancestral? Blue, black. They kept in Basic Island against me. That's odd. It's a card I would take out in the matchup, and a Ponder. Interesting. We're gonna go Ancestral on their upkeep, very likely. They can still play negations and stuff like that. I'm gonna play my fetch land now that I drew this Mock, so I can go get a City Sewers at the end of turn and still pay for a Flusterstorm. All right, well, I've got a plan. They're playing pretty slowly, so we can as well. We can go for an end step PO. I don't think I have any interest in vamping in this game. Let's stock up. Yeah, I think that's fine. It does mean like my PO, if I play at end step, is actually weak to fluster, but I have 2 POs already. I kind of like probe Jet and just see what my opponent's hand is so I know how to play through this game. Seems like a really powerful probe. Oh, my opponent has Abrupt Decay, Atraxa, and 4 lands. So they're very dead here. Interesting. I wonder what their hand was. Maybe they shuffle. Did they shuffle? They didn't shuffle. So they're going to Abrupt Decay my Mana Vault, maybe, or my Jet, which is fine. Still draw 3. That's a lot of counter magic. Am I going to buy Lurrus? I would have to discard a card. I'm not buying Lurrus. There's no reason to. It's not going to do anything here. I mean, I would lose a land because I would keep all these blue cards, right? And then I would have access to Mana Vault back. So maybe it's fine. I don't know. I feel like having another blue mana is good, though, especially when I have no blue Moxen for my POs. Are they short a color? They're not short a color, are they? Green, blue, white, black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I feel like they can cast Atraxa here, unless I'm wrong. Oh, they drew Force. Oh, they wanted to use Beseiju on my Jet. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's not a big deal. We can win with other ways. Let's go Time Walk. And I'll go buy Lurrus. And I'll play Lurrus. I'll bring back Jet or Mana Vault. I can bring back Jet. Yeah. Okay. All right. Simple. Very simple. Very easy. Yeah. Okay. Run again. I don't think like Trap's like that good against my opponent's deck, but it's nice to have. And you can hard cast it. I think people probably play less Traps than they're supposed to. This hand is not good. Got the one of my Bowmasters still remaining in my hand. No Force. No way to find AB. This is acceptable though. I think I'm supposed to. Ooh, interesting. Okay, I don't think I need this Mana Vault. So I have to dodge a turn 1, but then I'll have Hardcast Trap up. I won't be able to buy Lurrus and have Hardcast Trap up, though. I think I'm going to pass. It signals Force, but I think that's acceptable. This is a fine Flusterstorm. They must have been holding open another counter magic or something to not have gone Ancestral on my upkeep here. Very interesting. But now I'm tapped out, so... And I can't buy Lurrus. They're gonna play an oath. They're gonna play a null rod. Okay. Well, as long as I don't get my Tolarian Academy besieged, we can keep playing the game. This is a dangerous one because if they have a follow-up of an oath, we would be turning the oath on, but I think we need to progress in our game, so... Stock up is not a bad one by any means. Okay. In an orchard and pass. Okay, not bad. It means we're still in... Oh, wait, they just... Oh, they have the besiege you. Okay. All right, well, now our game is hard. Oh, I should have gone sewers. Sorry. I clicked through that too fast. Could have gotten sewers value there. Another sewers value. Very controlling hand from the opponent. Brainstorm. Well, making them pay more for this brainstorm doesn't really help me here. Sadly. Hopefully they just brainstorm lock themselves and have nothing good. I need another spell before Oath to be able to trap Oath, unfortunately. Too bad we didn't have this Bowmaster before my opponent used their Brainstorm and their Ancestral. I think it'll be more correct to play Bowmaster than to get a Surveil land. Every turn matters here. Well, they don't have any more draw spells in their deck anyways, so not great. Feed the Swarm. All right. It's not bad. That's an Oath answer. Again, I did take out one of the Feed the Swarms from the original list that was in the sideboard, so that's kind of on me. It's Abrupt Decay on my... Sure. But, to be fair, Oath is not a huge portion of the metagame at the moment. But I think a nice nod to Oath in the sideboarding, because you're not playing cages and you don't have access to Portable Hole, so... Another Bowmaster. I think it's a now timing on this Bowmaster to get an additional damage. I don't think holding up Flusterstorm at this point matters. So... Kind of just have to hope our little measly clock gets there in time. And to be fair, like, Bowmaster is significantly helping us push a clock in a game that we are kind of blocked out of playing. So I think Bowmaster gets some credit points there. Seven life. We are in trouble if my opponent just plays a land and plays an Atraxa, though. I guess we have a Feed the Swarm, so maybe we're not. Though we probably have to hit a land to have Flusterstorm back up to resolve it. Kind of been hitting a lot of lands, I will say. So, what's that? 3? I mean, I'm going to go stock up. See if we can find a force. Probably gets Flusterstorm, though, which is not bad. We have to get rid of the Flusterstorm anyways. Probably. I do need to do something soon, and it can't be an Oath anymore because they're dead on board. Weird games. Super weird games. All right, here we go. Round 2. Cat acquired versus cat from the opponent. I've got a nice PO hand, but no permission. This Vampiric Tutor looks kind of out of place when you don't have an A or a B, where Vampiric Tutor at its most powerful gets Tinker, right? Which is just... I mean, technically Tinker is an AB in the fact that you have to have an artifact, but not really, right? It's mostly just an A. Okay, my opponent has a more powerful PO draw. Hopefully they're not playing PO on their end step or my upkeep here. Or their second main, anytime, actually. Just don't cast PO, actually. PO for 3. Yeah. These are the hardest games because there's really nothing you can do. Pretty sure I'm just jamming back because I don't really feel like... And I can stock up, but if they have nothing, it's better for me to PO than to stock up, so I kind of have to play like they have nothing. Well, they had nothing, but but I have nothing back. I mean, I have a force. Maybe force is enough. I actually have Vault Key now because I have the key, so I have AB. I have some mana to play with. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We're cooking. We're cooking. I spoke too soon. I guess if I had gone stock up and they had done nothing, I could have maybe vamped for the time vol and it would have been fine. Maybe I did play that turn wrong and I should have gone for stock up and hold up vamp. We'll see if what my opponent does. We know that they have Mox, Opal, Mox, and what is it called? Time Walk? Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's something we lose by being blue-black as well. We lose out on the ability to make our spells uncounterable. They have double blue. They have another PO. I don't think I'm supposed to vamp early. I guess it helps me play around mental misstep, but I don't know. I don't want to be locked into getting a time vault if my opponent... I guess what would my opponent do that... The problem is, I don't know how we can resolve an AB against an uncounterable force. I hope they don't have it again. I guess it's possible. Maybe they just don't have it. I guess like they can always like stock up here and find a force, and that's an uncounterable force. I'm not really like worked up over my vampiric getting countered. I guess if their only interaction is Flusterstorm, then yeah, I guess I get worked up over vampiric being countered. So maybe I'm supposed to vampiric in response to the Squelcher. I could see it. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I could see it. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate. My opponent just knows my whole hand, so they know exactly what they need to beat. But our hand's good. Now, another problem is, are they going to kick a trainer? And they're stock up. Okay, I didn't think they had enough mana for that. So another problem is we don't have a Yoggle in our deck. So the only way to bring back a Time Vault is a Lurrus. Which is not the biggest problem, but Yoggle's a pretty powerful card. Mana Crypt by Lurrus. All right. Well, they're moving confidently, so I assume that they have an answer for something. Oh, I'm going to get a Time Vault. Do we have a Mind Break Trap in our main? No. Mind Break Trap in the main is a way for us to beat this. Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just start by Ancestraling. Let's see what my opponent's working with. Oh, they have nothing. They actually just hit nothing. That's crazy work. They have a Flame of Venor, but they don't have the mana for it. All right, well. I don't understand. How can that even happen? Oh, wow. All right. I mean, Sculpture doesn't help you if you don't have spells that matter. Wow. I feel like my chances of winning that game after turn 1 and then after turn 2 were extremely low, but somehow we did. So I will bring in Negation Trap. I'm going to bring in Long Goodbye, which is a great answer because it is an uncounterable way of killing Squelcher, but it also is an uncounterable way of killing Lurrus, so you get a nice little multifaceted answer here. And then what cards are bad? Well, again, I don't think we need access to an island. I don't really like Vamp in these kind of matchups when my opponent's trying to grind me out. I don't really like either of my AB combos. Like my opponent has Pyroblast, Flame of Venors, Flusterstorms, Portable Holes, all kinds of things. So you end up in a kind of a rough spot, but I think we'll still keep access to both combos. It doesn't feel right to keep Twister in, but we might just need to have Haymakers, so. Okay. Interesting. See, like, this hand stinks. I don't like this hand. Obviously, this hand counters things, which is nice, but I don't find that countering things is the way to beat Lurrus PO. That makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense. I'm going to negate this. I've been actively attacking mana rocks with negations a little bit, trying to feel it out. See how good that was or how bad that was. Vexing Popple, Ancestral Recall, Flusterstorm, stock up. Tolarian Academy is turned off. So if they hit a land, they have Ancestral with Force backup. If not, they'll probably just play Vexing Bobble and play Academy anyways. And then play Ancestral. So I'm cooked in that sense. So I guess I am just going to play my own Vexing Bobble so they can't draw any zeros and play them off of Ancestral. They'll play their Bobble first to make sure their Academy gets some mana. And then they'll probably hold up Flusterstorm, right? Like, what is casting Ancestral here? It resolves your Ancestral, which is something, but I think this hand was not very good on my side, but I actually think the negation came out pretty well. Now they're going to give me the opportunity to maybe draw some Flusterstorms, but now they can counter my DT, so, you know, a little here, a little there. And they can just end step Ancestral, but then they run into Flusterstorms, so tough. Now they're going to Ancestral. Just kidding, you got it. Just joking. So they have 5 unknowns in hand. That's quite a few. No land drop. No ability to pay zeros. I will play in Undercity Sewers. And I think I'll take another land. Yeah, I think I'll take another land. I need to get out of range of this Flusterstorm to cast my hands on my demonic, so. Don't see myself buying Lurrus. I'd like to be able to hold open Long Goodbye for a Hexing Squelcher. Blue. Otta. That's utterly ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sink this, right? So. Mana Crypt. That's not very good. Now they tapped out, though, so now I can play Demonic into Ancestral. And they had to discard the hand size. Probably discard Mana Crypt, I assume. Maybe they don't. Maybe they keep it for... Oh, discard Flame of Venor. Interesting. Oh, now I don't have to DT for Ancestral. I think I'm down to just resolve all of this right now. Academy. Actually, I kind of maybe made an oops here where I don't have access to that flame the thing anymore. Maybe I wanted to. I mean, I can still DT for a fluster if I want, but I don't know. I may have been a little aggressive there, but they were tapped out of their fluster storm, so it felt like a good timing window. I mean, I have a nice mana advantage at the moment. Time walk. I mean, as long as they don't play Hexing Squelcher, and before I get long goodbye back up, I think we're okay. Okay, they have 3 mana now. They can play Stock Up, uncounterable here. I guess not uncounterable if I have a fluster, but I don't have a fluster. Oh. Okay. That's pretty good. Pretty good. It's going to take me a little bit to be able to take this back. I'm on... So what can I do? I have 5 mana. I feel like it's going to be really hard for me to take that back. What I can do is get a Bowmaster, though. I like that a lot, actually. I don't like that a lot because I don't get to really hold up all the things I want to hold up. Maybe I just cast Stock Up then. Try to hit a Bowmaster with Stock Up. That went badly. I will take a Soul Ring and another fetch, but I can't play yet, but... Okay. That went really poorly. That makes sense, though. Like, I could hit Vault Key as well. Oh, my opponent's tapped out. Like, over time, but, like, I have a Vexing Bauble, so... Oh, I guess I'm dying. Is something to consider as well. Are they gonna Portable Hole me? They're cracking their Vexing Bauble. It's kind of bold, isn't it? I'm gonna play a Hexing Squelcher. This is all right. It's our time here. They're gonna play 1 artifact before... Oh, they're braiding my Soul Ring. See... That's pretty good. I could use my long goodbye now and save myself some time. I don't think I'm going to. They're tapped out again if I can find Vault Key. I have a lot of mana. 6 mana. Trainer sounds great. Should I kick a trainer? I don't think so. Because I kind of want to be able to long goodbye still. All right, there's my Time Vault. All right, so I'm going to DT for Vault Key. And I'm just going to leave my everything up. Cool game. What a cool game. I love games of PO mirrors that don't involve one person casting a PO for 3 on turn 1. Or both players casting a PO for 3 on turn 1. I'm in a cool spot right here. My opponent has 2 mana, but I have a Vexing Bauble, so they can't really use their counter magic efficiently. This is fine. I think we win. Wow, what a cool game. What a cool game this was. Sweet win. All right, round 3. We've had some great games so far in this league. Like, very odd games, not your average game, which is made for, I think, pretty good content. So, this hand does not function, sadly. Ugh, man, these hands have been not ideal, but I am into keeping this one. I'm worried about what we're playing against, though. I'm just going to get rid of the negation. Sorry, I'm just going to get rid of one of the forces. And this way I have choices here. So I'm looking to maybe go for a Surveyor Land into Saga Trainer, into play a longer game. Ancient Tomb. Okay. What kind of Ancient Tomb? Monolith. Okay. Tezzeret or... Yeah. All right, well, I don't really think it's better for me, so... Ring? Ring-a-ding-ding? Okay, well... I'm not technically dead, as I have my AB outs. I have a key here, and this could be a time vault, so... Pretty brutal, though. Not that brutal if my opponent didn't have a Vexing Bauble. If my opponent didn't have a Vexing Bauble, then... we would have had access to just counter their payoff after they spend all these Grim Monoliths. Definitely can bin that. Sewers is super broken. We saved ourselves from having a dead draw. I guess I'm more interested in Ancestraling than Trainering. Would that be true? Yeah, that's probably true. Well, I did find my combo, but my Saga needs to finish resolving, so... I don't know that we have the time we need to get through this. I think we're gonna have to... Well... Let's see what opponent comes up with. Flush Raker... Activate. I really don't think we're going to be able to survive another turn here. Already has a top. So we'll probably have to live through this turn, and then our trainer has to find us mental misstep. They should spin and look for second top. Okay, I don't understand. Here you can use this, spin, look for second top. Oh, I guess that you won't have the mana to cast it, huh? So I would just blind draw with this top then. I'd probably blind draw. I wouldn't do nothing. That's interesting. I think I deploy it now so that they don't have a free ring activation. That might do it actually, because then I can vamp for Time Vault and Time Vault Key. Wow, what a steal. I mean, we did talk about in the intro that it's very possible that this deck is, better against Raker because of the Bowmasters, and this could be an example of both Raker, Bowmaster being good to help the Raker matchup, and also AB combo being good to help the, very fast combo matchup. So pretty nice display of the strengths of this deck, if this does actually work out. My opponent is not even going to make me target the thing, which is odd. I was going to hit that just to make my opponent use it, but I guess I can go face now. I guess they can draw with their top two if they want. They're going to have to find a Talon Gate. So I could have waited on my Bowmaster to give myself a better chance of beating Talon Gates. I wonder, actually. Maybe I should have held the Bowmaster to give myself a better chance of beating Talon Gates. Because if they ever draw a card at all, then with that on the stack, I could have Bowmastered. Okay, yeah, that was probably bad. That was probably a bad line. I didn't really think about that at the time. Because my opponent just jams a Talon Gates, I just probably lose. So really silly of me, actually. There's kind of... So, like, my whole logic was, oh, I want to, like, not give them the opportunity to, like, do things in response to my Bowmaster. But I was not thinking of, like, the most important thing, which was Talon Gates. All right. So here's a Tezzeret, which does give them their combo. The thing is, they need to have a Talon Gates as well. And they can search after they can spin after they search for a second top. Untap Monolith. And another Raker. Huh. I have exactly enough mana, so or more than enough mana. I think we win this game. Wow. Cool. I do think I played badly though. I think I was supposed to hold my Bowmaster. Because there's nothing they can really do except for Talon Gates, and they can obviously they can Talon Gates in response if they make enough mana, because they can just activate the ability of it. But now I guess they can actually, because they have two Rakers, they could activate the one ring, and I can kill off one Raker, but they'd have the other Raker after, and then they could Talon Gates and then go for the combo. So actually they do have outs here. I'll just take the damage. Okay. I will vamp. Just gonna get the vault key. Just deterministic. I don't have to think about it. Sweet. I feel like we stole this game. Maybe my opponent was right and didn't want to spin, or didn't want to just blind draw. I don't think they have any outs at this point, though. Okay, I think we stole that game. I don't really like how I played it, but sometimes that happens. We're definitely bringing in Trap and Consign. And I don't know about Hercules and Negation. Probably. And Needle is definitely good. And then we have to consider, do we want to bring in removal? Just instant speed removal, maybe? I kind of think Negation is not that good. Maybe I'm wrong. It hits Tezzeret and One Ring and top. But like you can only 2-for-1 yourself so many times. When the opponent is just all action and no interaction. Pretty sure we want our counter magic. I think having access to a chain is good. We can probably get away with no Lorien, and then maybe we don't bring in a negation, and then maybe we take out a negation. I don't know. Something like this seems correct, but maybe there's some fine-tuning that can be done on the exact parts. Maybe you don't want access to Twister, but I think you might. Just having as many combos as you can against the deck. Like, you want to have your interaction, for sure, but... I'm not sure. All right. This is a reasonable hand. I've got a force, and I have into ancestral, so I like this hand. I don't expect my opponent to bring in Mindbreak Trap on the play, but I'll probably have to play around Mindbreak Trap. Oh. Yeah, I'm probably countering that. What I could do is if I find another like solid payoff spell, I could Merchant Scroll for Consign. Well, now I'm back, quickly approaching PO land. They're F6, so I'm short on PO land here. So maybe I shouldn't have played this Mana Vault. I'm 1 mana short on PO. I think I just try to fade. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to fade. It was like play Mana Vault and try to fade, or Merchant for Ancestral and try to draw Force, or double Crawler. I guess that's decent against my Opal line. See, like, one of the problems here is I don't have like great, like, if I had Flame of Manor, I could just kill these both off and I don't care. But like, Vault Key doesn't win through Crawler. Maybe this is all a big scam by CRK to make Crawler better. But like, it's good against my plan here for sure. Okay. Oh, these are multiple answers to the problem. Could I have Fatal Pushed in response? Would that have helped me? Because I picked things up already, right? So I have Revolt, so I need to play a Black Source, so I can't play this Saga. But now I have an answer to this Scrawler as well with Bowmaster. I mean, maybe Scrawling Crawler is not a very good Magic card. maybe we should not be playing Scrawling Crawler. All right, ping your Scrawling Crawler, we each draw a card, then your Scrawling Crawler dies, and I get an extra card. I could die. Still dead to Vault Key, right? So maybe the one extra card gets them to Vault Key and I die. If not, then we've got Saga, Academy, Lurrus, but not a whole lot. We don't have like a Consign would have been our best draw for sure. Our opponent did give us a card too, so we could have drawn a Consign, Ancestral, PO, Talon Gates, my Bowmaster, and then what? Defense Grid doesn't matter anymore. And the top is pretty good here. Top Vault Key, top with Key, so they can do 2 draw here. Oh, I would probably have blind activated to get an extra card. I don't think I like spin here. Because this is your only turn, you can like definitely draw cards through Bowmaster, so. All right, I'd love to see a counterspell or a payoff. Vampiric Tutor is actually neither of those things. Maybe. So I can't play Saga and buy Lurrus and play. I guess I can vamp on the next turn. Okay. I'm tapping out through Defense Grid here, but I guess that's another reason not to try to vamp on their turn. I mean, my opponent, they can do things. They have a look here. They have a draw here. They can find a Time Vault. Not much I can do with the cards I drew. If I get to my turn, I just vamp for a Twister and win, right? So. But if they find a Time Vault, they find a Time Vault. CRK me. Tezzeret? That's fine. I don't know exactly what that even does here. I did draw pretty well off my 1 PO. I drew 2 removal spells for Crawler, though Crawler made Bowmaster a removal spell for Crawler when it kind of shouldn't be, right? I think my opponent's dead. I don't really know what they can even cast here that would help. Stonecoil Serpent doesn't really help. Portable Hole. That's interesting. Makes sense. Twisties. I probably can make a construct or something and get more, but who cares? Bam. Solid start. Onward to round 4. We've got some pretty convincing wins and snuck out of some really abysmal spots. So let's see what this hand does. I think a turn 1 Vexing Bobble is usually enough to keep. Let's see what's still. We'll see. I have to say, I've been pretty happy. Obviously, we've pointed out a bunch of spots where we were struggling because we had certain cards, but we obviously also had a bunch of spots where our cards performed very well. So I don't think this hand is particularly amazing or anything, but I do think a turn 1 bobble against a no Lurrus opponent is quite good. So let's see what they have for us here. We can F6 because we can't cast anything either. See what kind of gamer they are. Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith. Oh, Sensei Stop. All right, maybe another Raker player. We can really abuse them with Bowmasters. Though, if my opponent does just jam a natural CRK Volt Key, that's a problem. I think I'm interested here in holding up Bowmaster. It's too easy to lose from this spot. It's unfortunate that we don't have access to our sewers because we do draw it, but you win some, lose some. The One Ring. All right, well, we at least have some Bowmasters, so I have to hit my own thingy. That's okay. It grows state-based actions. In kind of a bad spot because we kind of need a force. I don't really know. There's a negation and a misstep. I'm gonna get this negation so I don't die to Volt Key. And then I have to play out my Academy because I need to be able to crack my Bobble. And I'll send a message by attacking. Alright, so my opponent has to find a way to win before this gets too bad for them. Should be interesting. I will say, Bowmaster good against Raker. We knew that, but it's been pretty sweet. All right, they're going in. Probably just have to. So they're at 12, and we have 6 damage at the moment. And every time they activate, or every time they draw a card, it's 2 more damage, assuming we can attack. And we can't play any zeros. And we're not going to do anything except for hold up our ability to negate. And if we get to our next turn, then we'll hold up our ability to hardcast negate. This can untap the ring, but you start to run into some life total issues. Soul Guide Lantern. I think I try to ulti Tez. I mean, I would never counter Tez because, again, like I think the only way I lose this game is the Volt Key. So, but it looks like they're gonna try to ulti Tez. I don't think that's enough though. So they have one card left. But they have two tops. They can just draw and play as many tops as they have life. So they're going to get to ulti Tez if they want. I just don't know that that's going to be good enough. All right. They have a Tez emblem. Because they do have an active One Ring, chipping away their life total as well. I'm not going to crack anything here. Chain is kind of an interesting card to have access to. I could see mulliganing it, though. I'm willing to attack with trainer and token, because if they want to eat my trainer, I think that's fine, because getting them 4 damage is quite good. But if they want to save the damage, then make sure we get 1 in. Maybe I don't actually want chain, because chain has the ability to bounce anything of mine. So maybe that was a mistake. So they elected to take the damage. So if they go for a One Ring activation, we'll just play a second Bowmaster. And if they don't, then we'll just hold up negation. I like our spot. Kind of a weird game, huh? So what's your plan? You're just gonna make a 6/6? Okay. An attack? Okay. New One Ring, I assume, then? Because you're dead on board-ish. Yeah, you're dead on board if you don't. Hmm. Weird game. Another weird one. They might activate Ring to try to get to a new ring. Oh, right. That makes sense. They have Vigilance with the Manifold Key. I missed that. I wonder if I would have ran into that attacking-wise. Classic. Vigilancing Sensei's top. My bad. All right. Well, I will respond with a Bowmaster. I'm drawing this chain that I don't know if is very good. I'd like to get my Thunder Trap in, because I can always crack the Bauble. Another Force. Is that better than taking a Vamp? I feel like I don't need help winning from this spot, so... I will say I can't lethal my opponents still. But I will eventually win. I guess they can make unblockables at some point. I have negation and chain. I'm just gonna take this vamp, which is gonna win the next turn if nothing goes crazy. Oh, I guess if they play a new One Ring, then it doesn't work. I wonder if I'm throwing this game. I can always draw another blue card off of Bobble. I can also tutor for a force and draw it with Bobble if I want. Probably wouldn't want that, but I guess I would negate a one ring. I don't think I need to hit that. At this point, I would negate a one ring. That's not a blue card, so hopefully I didn't ruin this game by taking this vamp. Oh, I guess they can play zeros off their forge now. They didn't have any zeros this game, unless the last card in hand is a zero. All right. I don't know that I played that well, actually. I mean, I think I played some of the early parts well, but I don't know that I played the right ending section of that game. But yeah, Bowmaster was enough, so pretty sweet. Same board as last time. We're gonna go with the needle, trap, negation, consign. I don't really like our goals still. And then I do like the instant speed removal. We took out an island. We took out Flusterstorm. We took out probe. We took out. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we took out negation. Is that what we did? Still don't know about that. And then I took out Lorian. That's what I did. Something like that. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but it seems close enough, so. Not sure. It's hard to fit all the cards you want against Raker. Frequently have that problem because you want artifact hate, you want activated ability hate, you want creature removal, so. So far, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. The deck has kind of done the thing the deck is supposed to do, so it's always nice. I have a cat. What do I have? Ancestral push, bobble. Oh, I could have taken out bobble on the draw. That was pretty bad. So what could I have instead of a bobble here? I could have a negation. Yeah, that would be a lot better. That would be a lot better, I will say. Miss on my part. Whoops. Whoops. Hope we don't die in turn one here. Though pitching Ancestral Negation would not have made me a very happy guy. We don't have the greatest sequencing here, but it's okay too. Yeah. Let's see what opponent's got for us. Hopefully it's like a scrawly crawly and we just push it. I guess we don't want to see their vexing bobble either. Tolarian Academy. Go. Trainer. So I think I just like Lotus and Jet, and then Bobble into Mindbreak Trap, and then we can Ancestral. Let's see where that takes us. Time Vault, Trap of our own. I guess I'm gonna be playing Trainer. And then I can always sack Lotus for black, draw with Bobble, and play Trap and have push. So I think that's acceptable. Chain, Consign, Force, PO. I'll take Consign. So we have lots of options here. I will say it will be kind of hard for us to trigger Revolt on push with this current hand setup later. So we gotta be a little careful. I don't know that I care about them having a bunch of mana here. I think we're just looking to hit payoffs. Tezzeret. All right, I will consign Tezzeret. They're gonna play another 3-drop that I can trap. Consign's a fine draw though. I can still trap if they have something. No. I am interested in. Oh, I can't trigger Revolt, so do I want to play Time Vault out? I don't think so. Well, it helps build out my mana. Is a reason to. I'm gonna just go with a Surveil Land. I'm a little behind in the fact that I don't have great cards now. Maybe I was too aggressive with my Ancestral. I could have waited on the Ancestral theoretically. I definitely don't want a basic island, so thank you, Surveil Land, for your assistance. At the very least, this consign buys me another turn anyways. Then at some point, we'll be holding up in a hard cast trap. So we're not really in danger right now. But I did use a lot of my resources, so. Opponent didn't play a land that turn is something to note. So if we had countered the Grim Monolith, there were some upsides there. But they could also be like holding Talon Gates in their hands for future Bowmaster. So it's, I don't know if it's like a lock that they have no lands. What is this? Why are we pausing? We just didn't want to F6, or do we have a trap or a dismember are the cards they could have? Might bring in dismember to kill Bowmaster, right? But not a very good card on this current situation board. The fact that I can't trigger my Revolt is not great. A second key, we don't care. Lots of mana still. Here's a payoff. A Lodestone Golem. I think that's fine. We'll consign the Lodestone Golem. Like, we could theoretically push it later, but why not just cash in our consign? If they have a follow-up play, we still have a trap this turn. And if we don't, then we could play a land and we'll have it next turn. Last card, Ring. Great. Trap. All right, that works out pretty well. Sync isn't going to be very good. Ah. I see Arcade them. All right, well, we are both high rolling and our deck is working at peak efficiency, so we take that. All right, here we are, 5th and final round, looking for a trophy. I have a cat. Opponent is named Atraxa, but has a Lurrus. Very sus. Well, I wouldn't consider this a good hand, but I also don't believe I'm putting it back. Let's see how it plays out. Well, they get to look at my hand for free. So I'm F6 through this, and then, I don't know. So, like, if they're on Frog, we are, like, kind of want to fetch Island, right? But then we can't cast Bowmaster, so it's a little unfortunate. Oh, they have a Lotus and a Mox. And a stock up. Okay, well. Play, draw, Dift. If I was on the play, I could have a Flusterstorm for their stock up. But I got Dift. See how this goes. But now we know we can fetch a an Underground Sea. So if they play 2 stock ups before I can have Flusterstorm up, I'll be a sad guy. We need to figure out if they're Breach or if they're PO. Oh, they're Breach. Interesting. That's a pretty aggressive Breach. Are you getting a card or a Lotus? Oh, they just must have Natty Brain Freeze. All right, we got C Arcade. Okay. Well, that is something that can happen when you do not have a Force of Will in your opening hand. I'd like to see like a little bit more of their deck, just to see if there's drains. See who they target. Okay. All right. There's drains and traps and a squelcher. That's good enough for me. Okay. So their breach drain. I want to bring in. I think I will bring in a long goodbye for squelcher plus Lurrus. And then I'll bring in a spell bomb and a lantern because they both cantrip. So it seems pretty reasonable to bring those in. And then a negation is nice to get rid of the cards permanently. Island isn't necessary. I don't really like Vamp in this kind of matchup. I don't really see any need for Chain. I do like Probe, though. And then maybe we can get rid of a Lorien or a Sync. Probably not both, though. So maybe keep Lorien and get rid of Sync, and then one more card. I like Bowmaster just because it clocks them. It's not very good against like their deck, but just having an instant speed clock is good. Maybe it'll be like 1 PO down. It's probably fine. Pretty brutal, but sometimes you get vintage. That's why we play 3 games. You don't really want to keep a force of, like, you don't want to multi-force against Lurrus. The chances they hit you with like the turn 1 kill are pretty low. So this hand is not very good, but I don't think I'm putting it back. Gonna upkeep a Bowmaster here. I don't think there's any good reason to wait, so. Not thrilled with that, but see what happens. Time Walk again. Squelcher. We can play through that. They didn't have another land drop. It does block, though. I think we're just gonna kill it. This can get trapped, but I almost don't care. I almost want them to use it. It would mean we permanently can't get Vault Key, but don't know that that matters. I guess my opponent at some point can buy Lurrus and replay Squelcher, and I don't really have a lot to do with that. Now my opponent can have Drain up, so there's definitely no way I'm just playing the second Bowmaster to give them free mana. We can just spend our mana on Lurrus, try to draw another mana next turn so that we can have end of turn POs and things. What is this? Dress down. Second end step, or second main. So the dress down goes away. You have a Surveil land, no Surveil land. Or their Surveil land is Thundering Falls and they want to get black. No land drop. I'm looking for a mana for me. Yeah, this is a little bit unfortunate, but hopefully they... Okay. It's like hopefully they don't drain my Soul Ring. I'm gonna look for a window for this PO. I'm not gonna just jam it for no reason here. I will let them drain another Bowmaster if they want. Maybe that's silly. Maybe what I should be doing is end of combat. I don't know. Like I have a PO trap hand, so I can like play to this pretty well on their next turn. Maybe I don't like this play very much actually. What's the percent chance that my PO resolves on them? Spellbomb, Lurrus. I don't have blue for trap. Oh, I got misstepped. Gross. Maybe I played this really badly. I should just played nothing. Or played second end of combat. It's only 2 mana, but... See if we can bait them with a trap here. I'm gonna PO back my non-Bowmaster. I should probably make a black mana here. Force. Okay. One more spell to trap. So maybe... I don't know. Seems like they had force then. Force pitching chain. Maybe I didn't like... Maybe I don't like how I played this. I can just keep waiting. No reason to give them the 2 mana. Or, like I said, I can go on second end step. Not second end step, end of combat. So that the drain mana goes into the second main here. Which is something I like to do a lot against the drain decks, because it just means they played counterspell, which is fine. Don't really care. Counterspell, not exactly a vintage power level card. So next turn, we still have Lurrus rebuy Spellbomb, so we still have a pretty good play. They haven't shown us a land still. They absolutely could have more counter spells. Ancestral, Lotus, Freeze. All right, we're definitely giving our opponent Freeze and Lotus, I guess. Maybe they just have Breach in their hand already. So let's give them... I mean, we'll just give them... So if I think they have another... If I think they have a Flusterstorm, then I don't want to give them Lotus. All right, I'm gonna put the Lotus and Ancestral into the yard and give them Freeze and Sapphire. I'm not gonna counter Sapphire either. I don't think they have a land drop, so if they want to go Breach, I can trap over the top. They just have force backup. Okay. Well, I don't think I was ever beating this anyways, so... my opponent's hand was double force. So I guess I just had to not play... I did not play out my... I mean, this only works because they had missed up on my spell bomb. Oh, God. But it also only works because I misplayed and did not play my Bowmaster at the correct time. So, like, I think I can win this game even though my opponent does have the nuts here if I played better. So I lose out on my 5-0, but I think kind of deservingly in that I think I could have played that second game better. And also that, I mean, we were never winning game 1, right? They had the nuts. So good 4-1. I do think this deck has some like extra tools against that version of that breach. Even though PO is a pretty bad matchup, but I don't have access to Pyroblast, and I'm only on 2 Flusters. Maybe the matchup is still just terrible. But like I did play into it, like I said. You can't give Sean.deck his free wins by playing into Drain, which I did play around Drain by not casting it on my turn, but I also have to play around Drain by not casting it on end step there because I don't have a good enough play to bait like spells on the next turn. And even though my opponent ran into Mind Break Trap and they had double force backup, so it just didn't matter. I will say that like we had the Spell Bomb and we got Mental Misstep there, which was pretty insane. But I can't imagine we lose that game if we play either no Bowmaster or we play second end of combat Bowmaster. So just a mistake, but like a pretty good highlight of how you can really abuse Drain. I think Drain is like a really telegraph card, and it's a really easy card for you to play around, and it's hard card to hold up. If you're not hitting land drops, holding open blue is really tough, and so it's really easy to make your Drain opponent feel real bad about registering Drain, and sometimes you need a harsh reminder of that. Oh yeah. Anyways, this was pretty fun. I think Bowmaster had its good shining matchups with the Raker, so pretty good there. And then obviously we drew a lot of natural AB combos and got some free wins, which is what we signed up to do. Definitely a recommended deck if this is more your swing, though. More your swing? What are we even saying? More your style. That's the word I was looking for. Though I don't really know that this is better than playing blue-white, or Esper for that matter. You have a nice mana base, but I mean, fool around with these Bowmasters and Twisters and stuff. It's nice having an AB combo with the main. Maybe I need to be like trying to look for more ways to board out Bowmasters, but obviously in this league we had a bunch of good Bowmaster matchups, so who knows? More vintage content on this YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. See you then.